Yanni. We're going to recap Bucks Suns and preview Bulls Bucks, as well as a new edition of Around the MLB and the Thinking Chair. That's all right now on Yackin Wit Yoni. Welcome to this January the 9th edition of Yackin Wit Yoni. I am Ryan Yanishadas. Let's kick this thing off with recapping last night's game between the Bucks and the Suns from the BMO Harris Bradley Center. Bucks do prevail. They win this one with a final of 108-99. And the first thing you got, first bullet point is good offense, bad defense. Early on, the Bucks were scoring. They were nailing their shots, getting a lot of good things going. But then the Suns were doing the same thing, and the Suns were making three-pointers. They were nailing their shots as well. So as the Bucks were scoring, the Suns were scoring, and it wasn't really making any of a difference. Second one, bye-bye, bad third quarters. At least for now, that was a quote from play-by-play man Jim Paschke on the Bucks broadcast last night. Pretty much because the third quarters where they usually only scored 5, 6, 7 points, and they give up a bunch. Last night they were nailing a lot of good shots. Brandon Jennings got hot in that third quarter, really helping him, and he was really feeling the momentum. He was feeling the fly. He was doing an unbelievable job to help that team in that third quarter. But it was the first third quarter the Bucks have actually left with a lead in a long time. And finally, Larry, as what the crowd was chanting at the Bradley Center last night, mainly because what he was able to do, he had 5 blocks. He's been an unbelievable job as a member of the Milwaukee Bucks, just being able to step up as that center, block everyone. Getting a little cocky towards the end of the game. I didn't appreciate that too much. I mean, you can't get overly confident, and he's sitting there saying, you can't see me to the Suns bench. I mean, there's really nothing, and still chirping with Martin Gortat. Really, you shouldn't be doing that. So I mean, that's that, but what can you say? But anyway, the good job by Larry Sanders on the blocks, and the Bucks doing 108-99, and we'll be previewing their game tonight with the Bulls in a little bit. We are on Facebook. You can like us, message us, and much more. That is Yackin Wit Yoni on its home of Facebook. Now it is time to go around the MLB. Usually we put in Cage Talk, but not really anything to talk about, so we're going to move Cage Talk to next week when we can preview the UFC on Fox. First thing, Cubs signed the D-Train. Originally drafted was Dontrelle Willis by the Cubs. Went to the Marlins, won a World Series with the Marlins, was a player. Ever since he left there, he's struggled, but he has signed a minor league deal with the Chicago Cubs, so congrats to him. Way to nail that. Second one, Rangers signed A.J. Pierzynski. A.J. leaving the South. I'm not sure if we talked about this one, but yes, he has left the south side of Chicago, going to join the Texas Rangers, and Rangers come to Wrigley Field in the first month of the regular season next year. So we'll get to see AJ again. But now everyone's taken out of that Cubs Sox rivalry that the Cubs hated in Ozzie Guillen and AJ Pierzynski. So what else is there left in that rivalry really? But he signs with the Rangers after losing Josh Hamilton to the Angels. Finally, Adam LaRoche, who a lot of teams wanted. He re-signed with the Washington Nationals, pretty much saying Mike Morrison is going to be dealt somewhere, possibly Seattle or somewhere else. But good job for Adam LaRoche. Also on a side note, Nick Swisher, former Yankee, signing with the Cleveland Indians. Good for him as well. So he got some signings. A month from, I believe, tomorrow or a month from this week sometime. It is pitchers and catchers reporting, and it is earlier this year because of the World Baseball Classic. We'll be covering as much as we can about that. That one, it'll be televised on MLB Network, but we'll cover that as much as we can because we'll have hockey going then and the NBA. So we'll have a lot of stuff going on, so we'll try to cover that as much as we can in the World Baseball Classic. But that is all the stuff we got going on. 3 months from yesterday was the Cubs home opener against the Milwaukee Brewers. Only 2 months and 29 days until we're safe and sound. Hopefully I'll be there. Maybe. Where is the one place to watch all Yackin Wit Yoni programming? It is our home of YouTube. You can watch all episodes, plus the best of at the end of every week. That is Yackin Wit Yoni on YouTube. That was around the MLB. We'll try to get around that as much as we can, just to give you the gossip and the drama of everything going on. Of course, the Hall of Fame inductees. That segues into my next segment. And by the time this is on, they've already announced the Hall of Fame inductees for this season. But I just wanted to air all that stuff out. I was able to do a thinking share, and it was about who I think should get in. Some of the steroid era guys get on the ballot this year. This is me clarifying what I think about this in my newest edition of the Thinking Chair. talking about the MLB Hall of Fame inductees and people that are going to be inducted. By the time this airs, I believe that will already be announced on who's getting inducted and who's not. But the fact of the matter is that Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, the guys that started playing, or that I got to watch when I started getting into baseball around 1998, are starting to get to the chance. And the sad thing about it is that they're all on steroids, and they're all gonna. And so I'm gonna go through the list of the guys, and I'm gonna tell you if they deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm gonna go from the guys that I don't really care about to the guys that I do. The first one, Mike Piazza. He was never proven to get steroids. He was always usually a clean guy, one of the best catchers in the game. I say in. Roger Clemens. The whole thing with the court, I think it'd be a hubbubaloo if he got in. I'm gonna say no. You also look at Barry Bonds. He got all this stuff. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say Mark McGwire. He's already said that he wouldn't care if he doesn't get in, and I think with all the steroids, he's not going to get any either, so that's another no. Sammy Sosa, who I grew up, I'm not sure if I idolize him, but he was the Chicago Cubs, and I can't be impartial when I do this, but he has a special place in my heart for everything he did for Chicago. And he was always a great guy. He always wanted to put a show on for the fans. He thinks he deserves to be a Hall of Famer. Would I induct Sammy Sosa into the Hall of Fame? No. But if one of them guys get inducted into the Hall of Fame that did steroids, that's just going to raise a whole new thing about that, and that's going to go on for a long time. So hopefully the guys that did steroids or got caught or anything like that don't get in. And hopefully, I say Mike Piazza is the only one that deserves to get in out of this year's class. And that is the newest edition of The Thinking Chair. Yackin Wit Yoni is on top of it when it comes to social media. That includes Twitter. You can get active with the show, so don't forget to follow Yackin Wit Yoni on Twitter. Of course, I said Mike Piazza. Forgot to mention Craig Biggio, Jeff Bagwell. I'd love to see Craig Biggio. Him being in the NL Central in all them years, really getting a chance to see him. I'd like to see him in there as well. Jeff Bagwell, Killer Bees. And then the other one, Lance Berkman, just signed with the Texas Rangers. So, one of the three Killer Bees still left. But that was the Thinking Chair. Now it's time to preview Bulls-Bucks tonight from the United Center in Chicago. Bulls coming off they're on a 3-game winning streak, being the Magic and the Heat on the road, and then the Cavs at home. The team's still looking good. They're playing well. Hopefully they're hitting that. This is the this is a streak that they need until Derrick Rose comes back. They need to beat the team. Right now Milwaukee, before that win last night, was on a little bit of a flux, but I think they're still a good team. But I think the Bulls can play very well. I think Carlos Boozer's doing well. He was a little quiet in the last game, and it was really Marco Bellinelli doing the job. But I think if the Bulls just play the way that the last time the Bucks were at the United Center, Bulls had a 20-some lead and dropped that game. So they do not want that to happen on their floor again. They want to take it from ground zero. Can they do it? We'll have to see. Jim Boylan he was also a interim head coach for the Bulls when Scott Skiles got fired from Chicago. So he'll be back at the United Center as a head coach. Got his first win last night as the Bucks head coach. Congratulations to him as well. But I think what the Bucks will need to do on the other side is they're going to need Larry Sanders to step up. That should be a good big meeting. I mean, he has a block, and I think consecutive games he's playing unbelievable. The Bulls are going to have to watch out for him. Him and Noah could be a good matchup. You're also going to see a lot of things, but I think you might see a good guard battle as well. But you just can't let the Bucks get going with Monte Ellis and Brandon Jennings. But I think them guys will be the key as well, because if them guys can outspeed the Bulls, they have a chance of winning that game as well. We'll see what happens. That game will be on at 7 o'clock on Fox Sports Wisconsin, which I'll have to watch, and Comcast Sports at Chicago in the Chicago area. That is previewing Bulls-Bucks tonight. Now it is time for predictions. Last night I picked the Bucks to beat the Suns last night, and I was right, so therefore I go up to 2-0. And now the Bulls and Bucks tonight from the United Center. I'm going to go Bulls tonight. I think the Bulls are going to be able to prevail. I think the Bucks right now are kind of in a little bit of a tailspin. They recovered last night, but I think the Bulls are going to come out hungry, knowing that the last time they were here, the Bucks, or the last time they were in the United Center, they struggled, or they dominated in the second half at least. So I say Bulls over Bucks. Preview for Thursday, we're going to recap Bulls-Bucks as well as a new edition of Yanni's Take and Around the MLB. I will be, my Yanni's Take tomorrow, we'll be venting a little bit about what happened with the Hall of Fame. As at time of taping, there actually could be announced already, so we're not 100% sure. I mean, if I could check real quick. It's kind of this live stuff here. Let's see if I can get any information here on if they did induct, who they inducted, and if not, let's see here. I'm turning on MLB Network. I don't think anyone, no one's selected. No one has been selected. That is breaking news here on Yackin Wit Yoni. No one has been inducted into the Hall of Fame for the MLB. Kind of sad. I'll be breaking that down in Yanni's Take tomorrow. That's wrap it up here for this January the 9th edition of Yackin Wit Yoni. I am Ryan Yanishada saying this is, and forever will be, one guy, one show, no sad.